This book takes you back to the root of words because the meaning of words haven't changed, although some people speak of dead languages. There's no such thing as a dead language because you have the words in this language. So they're not dead, you just don't know where they came from. But these words from ancient days are affecting people today. So people are going to have to make a research in words. I know I'm representing music. Music is a language, and my music speaks of everything. So in order to understand the music, you would have to know some of the things that I have studied, which helped me to project myself as I am doing. For instance, if you're studying something about Bach or Brahms and Beethoven, you need to study their life too. So actually, I don't consider myself as having a life, but I do consider myself as having studied. So therefore, you need to know some of the books that I studied, because a lot of things that I found out, people don't know about it. So we come down to words again, as to how they're affecting people today. Take the word convict. Convicts get convicted, and it also moves over into conviction. Now when you get to that word, it moves somewhere else, because a person can have a conviction about something and they got an idea about it, you see. So now, therefore, when you have words that move two ways on you, then you have to be careful, because here you have this word convict, convicted, conviction. Now this word conviction moves over, if you have an idea of something, you got an impression of something. You have knowledge concerning something. That an impression moves over into image, a reflection. Well, reflection, a person can reflect on something, they're thinking about it. The reflection moves over into image. All these things affect people. It doesn't matter whether you know about them or not. It's just like if you are on a lake and somebody throws a large stone in the lake. It doesn't matter whether you know about it or not. It's going to affect the boat you're in. It'll do something to the lake. Now, conviction, idea, impression, reflection, image, knowledge. Ideas of thought, too. Now, when you get to this word thought, you put an H on it, and you got a word that the ancient Egyptians used. You didn't get away from that word. It's still here today. Now, this word can move over into, that's where the word thought came from. This word moves over into two things, like the oath. An oath is a word, a promise, or something of the sort. So now this is affecting people, this ancient Egyptian word. The best thing to do is to get in some ancient Egyptian books, study up on Egyptian words, because they're affecting you. They're affecting your life, or your death, or whatsoever is about you. Now that's just one word. Now there are many other words. Some words are dead words, you might say. They go a certain way and then they stop. They're just like streets. Where you go down the street, you can keep on going on that street all the way to New York. The highway can lead you all the way there. You get on another street and then you run into a dead end. That's the way words are. So words are set up like in a certain formula. For all religions are set up a certain way with a set of words. Just like the New Testament. It's based on words. They say the word was made flesh, so everything is about the word. But it's a set formula. You have the Lord's Prayer set up a certain way. Forgive us as we forgive our enemies, but if you don't forgive your enemies, then you're not going to get forgiven. So if you sit up and you say something like that, that's your creed. Something happens to you, and some person do something to you you don't like, you don't forgive them, and then you do something wrong and you want forgiveness, you're not going to get it. So then you have to be careful what kind of prayers you're praying, because it's a very serious thing. It's just with humans. For instance, like if you plant a tomato seed in the ground, that's what you're going to get back. Now if you go out and say a particular formula of words, even if you're just pretending, it doesn't make any difference. You're going to get those words back. So the whole thing about it, a lot of people on this planet are saying words that they don't mean. Maybe words for money, words for pleasure, for other things. But it's a very dangerous game to play, to fool around with words, because words, just like material that you take to build a house, and however you use that material in a certain way, the house is going to shape to be that way. Now, you could give two people, some constructors of a building, the same materials and want them to build a house. And they're going by the way the architects have that blueprint. You have to have a blueprint. And here's a person come on this planet, a little baby. Now, a person is just like a house. They begin to be built. They come up from a small zone up, and they're growing, but it's a blueprint for them. So somebody set the blueprint for them. And just like this country, it had a blueprint set. And the blueprint didn't really include black people in it because it was set up for the good people. It was set up by the good people, for the good people. So it comes down to a point that you have to see that words are very important. If it had just been set up and it didn't say good people, then it would have been set up for black people. But it said good people, and that left them out because good people referred to the white people who set it up, and no black people signed it. So when you don't sign something, then you're not part of it. They were in an unfortunate condition where they couldn't sign it. But that doesn't make any difference. You have laws upon this planet. And man have to have some kind of laws because otherwise it's going into complete chaos with all these people on this planet. Without some kind of laws, even if they're bad laws, it would be complete chaos. So then you have a particular set of laws. Now, you take like this so-called, the Bible. People talk about gospel. That's another word you have to watch because it's really, it comes from, you look in a good etymology to tell you that the word wasn't originally that way. It was written like this. God's spell. Now, you know what a spell is. It's something like a charm, a curse, or something like voodoo. But that's what it says. God's spell, gospel, gospel. So then all you have to do is to get a good etymology. Look in there. If you can get black as etymology, you'd be all right because black as etymology got a lot of things in that. It's very concise and it's published in England. England has a lot of books that you can't get in America. France, too. Germany, too. The wisdom is scattered all over the world. The Chinese have some. The Japanese got some. Everyone has part of the wisdom. Therefore, unless you can go to every country and read every book, you'll never know anything. Unless someone comes that's sent by the one who messed all the books up anyway and was taught by them, which I was taught by the one who messed the books up. So therefore, all I have to do is get a book, and I look in there, and what I already know is in there. The only reason I'm doing that because I don't want people to think that I'm talking, I want to be a ruler on this planet or anything, want to be a god or anything, because God made people, and I'd be ashamed to say I made them. So they can't get the opinion that said I'm God, because it embarrassed me a lot. I don't like to get embarrassed. Now, here's a book called Ark of Bones by Hank Dumas. Now, Hank Dumas was one of the most unique writers that America's ever produced. And he was supposedly killed by a policeman. He'd done a lot of things for black people. He'd done a lot of things for this country. He went to the Army, and he was teaching a government experimental school. So when you have a country like that, where someone who really is doing something worthwhile, and they get shot down by a policeman or by anybody, it's really ridiculous. It doesn't make sense for someone who's irreplaceable like him, nobody like him ever existed in the white or black race, to have to meet that kind of fate and be cut off so soon. Because, so you see, you have a lot of things come to people, and they don't protect things. This is one of the things they didn't protect. Now, here's two books out by him, Poetry for My People. And when you read this, you can see that he really loved black people, and he's writing about them from down on the bottom. Here's another about, stories about black people, using dialect and other things that are close to them. Well, anyway, that's the person that you should investigate his works, Henry Dumas, Ark of Bones, and Poetry for My People. This book is just, the reason I mention it because there's music in his stories, and there's music in his poetry. So when I'm talking about music, I'm not just talking about musician playing an instrument. Anything is music. If you take like a beautiful picture that an artist paints, that's music. Anything that has symmetry to it, and when you look at it, it makes you feel it, is music, because that's what music is all about, feeling. Now, look up the word hue. because some folks call themselves humans. Because I said you got something called man, and you got something called human. And then when you got words like that, if you're human, you need to know what you are. Human. That's the Egyptian word too. Hu is symbolic of the sun. It was a word the Egyptians used for the name of one of the sun god, Hu, man. So now people are calling themselves human, and some of them call themselves mankind, some of them call themselves man. Now each one of those words mean a different thing. So you have to find out now what different people are around you. Mankind. Anytime you see some prefixes and different things on words, it changes the word. Now you got mankind. That's something, well, like, man-like. Not really man, you see. Human. That's not man either. It's got something else over in it. So now you have to search up the word human, search up the word man, see what man really is. Now I told you that the Bible says man is filthy and abominable. That's one of his definitions. So when you go out and you look at the skid row, you see men down on the bottom, and they're filthy and abominable. You can see that they're just fulfilling the Bible. And in the city you go in, you can find some men that's filthy and abominable all over the world. Well, they're busy being man, the definition of it. Everyone have their part to play in the Bible. So it's not a matter they want to be like that. That book is really worse than dynamite. It's influencing everybody's destiny on this planet. Although some people, some intellectuals have tried to burn the book up and get rid of it. Hitler tried to burn it up. They felt it was really affecting human beings. They were quite right, but it didn't do any good. They're gone. The book is still here. And that book has been here for thousands of years. I know when I first went to college, well, they usually be teaching to be an atheist or something like that. They have good reason to teach you that. They had no proof that there's any God or anything. But then I started thinking, well, since that book is all over the world, that if there is a God and the book doesn't represent him, why doesn't he stop it? And I began to wonder about it. So well, maybe this book is very cleverly written in an ignorant manner to fool people. It would definitely fool intellectuals. If it wasn't logical, they would get the book and say, this isn't anything. But so I took a red pencil and marked through the book, just like I would any other book. I didn't regard it as sacred. I wanted to find out what it meant. And I found out what it meant. I found out that it's affecting everybody on the planet. And it's so simple, a little child can understand it. That's why the intellectuals didn't catch it, because they be looking up at great minds and all that, and they miss the other kind of mathematics that's affecting them deeply. Like people have conquered space, you might say, to a certain degree, conquered the sea, everything. They've done everything but conquer death, which is still the main enemy. I remember reading something in a Muslim paper where Muhammad said that man's greatest enemy is death. And I said, that's the greatest truth he ever told. Right. That's the enemy. So then you have to find out what is that. Now death is a very strange thing, because just before I came here, there's a friend of mine in Philadelphia that died 3 times, officially died in the hospital. And each time, one time they took his heart out, massaged it, brought him back. Next time they stuck needles in his heart and brought him back. And he came back 3 times. So, well, something happened there. How could he do something like that? Well, he said he didn't know what happened to him, except that he'd be asking me, well, why did I have to come back? What am I supposed to do? I don't know what to do. I actually conquered death, but why did the Creator send me back? And he walks around saying that quite often to me. But he said he was somewhere where it was a door, and it was cold, and he stood before this door 6 hours. He couldn't get in, he couldn't leave. Finally, he came back. So now you have a lot of cases where people die and come back. Well, I told him that he was so bad that death didn't want him, which is probably the truth. Because he came right back telling me about he hadn't done anything wrong, and all he does is wrong. So now here's another word. I hope you wrote the word hue down. Here's another word, way. Now you got something in that Bible that says, I'm the way. In ancient days, the ancients liked to use an H on a lot of things. Formulaic way. If I spell it the way they would spell it, W-A-Y. The way they would spell that would be W-H-A-H-Y-H. They like to put Y's in things to make it very complicated. Like, for instance, if they were going to spell the word earth, and listen in this form, they would write it E-H-A-H-R-H-T-H-H-H. And that would be kind of confusing. But nevertheless, to show you the way they did, because you're part of those people, you're not really modern or nothing like that, or contemporary, you can forget it. You're part of those people back there. So you wouldn't be here if you weren't part of them. If you cut them out of your life, you wouldn't be here, because part of them is sitting right up in here. Now, you have to face that fact. Now, you see how difficult they are, E-A-R-T-H. But so if you study hieroglyphics or other ancient languages, you have to remember that about these different, about that H, which is very important. Now, that's way. But now we take it and turn it backwards. It'll be Y-A-W. Y-A-H-W. H-Y-A-H-W-E-H. Now they would do things, for instance, like this H could be written like that, or it can be written like that, because they were fond of play on words. So if you weren't really schooled in the way they did things, you wouldn't be able to. But so anytime you see a word, you could put the E behind it or E in front of it. And so if somebody came up and didn't know the code, they see the words up there, they wouldn't know what it meant. And that's the way the educated class of people did, and the priests. They always wrote something that everybody couldn't understand. So now you got Yahweh. Now, that came from this word way. For instance, like they said, Christ said, I'm the way. Now you look in some Hebrew books, and in some other, you'll see this Yahweh. Now Yahweh is on their play on this word way. So you have to come to a knowledge of different things like that. Different words stretch out. Now here you got something else. It moves on you all kind of ways. And people be worshiping these things and don't know what they're worshiping. Now here's something. Now how many vowels you got in the English language? They say you got 5 and sometimes Y. But if you get over to some more books, you'll see you got A, E, I, O, U, Y, and H. Now, why didn't they teach you that there's 7 vowels? You see, a lot of things have been left out your education. There are 7 vowels. Now, you'll find that in a book called The Secret Doctrines, and you'll find it in some more books, too, where it tells you about the 7 vowels. Now, you take that. Vowels could really be interpreted as the word of God's, because why? You give somebody a vowel, you got word. Now, El is one of the oldest names for God. So you got God's word, vowels. So you see, another play on words have been enforced upon you. Now, if you investigate very closely, you'll find that U and V is the same thing. Now, see, that's where the word Jehovah came from. It came from the vowels, God's word. Now, see, when you start finding out things like that, you begin to be very careful upon what you say you believe in, because it's just like if you go to church and they give you some pledge cards. Now, a pledge means a vow, and you put your quarter in there, whatever you're going to put in there, and then you sign your name. Now, when you sign your name on that pledge card, you're really taking a vow to follow whatever creed that church stands for. It doesn't matter whether you know that or not, but if you take it and you don't follow it, you get some punishments on you, because you've given your word that you're going to follow it. So it's not an innocent thing to belong to a church. And I mean, even if it's the wrongest church in the world, and they got their creeds there, and the government is recognizing them and give the preacher his certificate or his license to preach, and he has the right to go out there, so he set his creed out there on you. Now, you might not read it. It makes no difference. If you join that church, sign your name, put your money in there. Of course, when you start putting your money in there, they're going to put you out anyway. But you're putting your money in there to make the vow binding. And as long as you put the money in there, the vow is binding. But then when you fall down on your money, out of the church, you get kicked out of church. So now, I'm telling you this because, like, in my music, it might seem a long ways from music, but along with education in schools, I was also educated by the creator of the universe, which is not everybody possibly not supposed to believe that. It makes no difference to me. Nevertheless, I know a lot of things that people don't know, and no man taught me. Neither a white man nor a black man taught me these things. I thought they already knew. But then I came to find out they don't know. So now, here's another word that's very important. I've mentioned before, it's YHST, that's what Y is. And I say you pronounce that as wise. Now, if you look around in some art shops and other places, you'll see a UHST, and you see VHST, and you see a IHST. All this is very important. It's not this mumbo jumbo. Up on that cross you got IHST, and you got a YHST, and you got a UHST, you see? Now why keep changing? Why not just keep one symbol? It's because all these things are affecting people. It's done mathematically. Now an I is equal to Y, you can see it in the word by. B-I. It's pronounced just alike, so therefore an I is equal to a Y. Of course, they can change it. And then if you look over in the, well, you got your V right there, see, like that. You take that, and now you got your V. So it's easy to change it over into a U. Things are done mathematically like that. Now this word S-H-U-T, shut, that means closed. Now you've heard that the Bible is a sealed book. That's what that means. S-H-U-T, shut, closed. Like a judge said, case closed. That was a German old man, so case closed. Ever since then, man been getting crucified. And, you know, he goes out and he crucifies brothers and everything because he's trapped by this, shut. Now, that means they can't do anything different. Now, this word shut moves over into S-H-O-O-T because, you know, like, you can spell goose like that, although it looks like Gus, but that U, you see, is therefore two O's is equal to a U. So we put it up there, shoot. Now, if you go out in some places like the Deep South, other places where black people have been too affected by education or what people, sophistication, and if something happens that they don't like, they'll say shoot instead of sometimes they'll say shucks. Oh shucks. But then sometimes they'll say shoot. And that shoot moves right over into, like if you see a tree and it's got a shoot out there, it's a branch. Now you keep on looking in that book, it speaks about the man of the branch. If you get this book I told you about called The Two Babylons by Alexander Hislop, he'll tell you it's all about the man of the branch, Two Babylons. That's a very important book. It's telling you all kind of things. Now here's the part where you got life, biology. That's concerning life. Now you know bi means two, so we put number 2 up there. So now, here you got this word once. One. That's the 2, that's the 1. Now, you got something in this, what they call a good book, say man has become like one of us. And that's when the trouble started, when he became like one. Right there. Now, here you got something where they said the Son of God came and said, I'm my Father one. And he got crucified. So he's trying to show you what one meant. That you get killed by that word one. Adam and Eve got messed up with it, and then the Son of God, Christ, came along, he got messed up with it. But man still doesn't understand that he got to stay out of this word one. Now right here, I told you this IHST. That means is, but it also means one. That's the one there too. Once. It's phonetic. Once. See? Now, so you got the case of once. And what does once mean? It means the past. Like you tell somebody, well, once I was such and such a thing, and once I had, you're talking about what back something that's gone by. So once always means something that's gone by, or something that's past, something passed away. Now here all these people is dying, and then they come and say, so-and-so passed away. Now they speak of these people passing away. They speak of something else that's passing away too. Time. They said time passed away. A person passed away. Now see, so they're over in the same equation. Now this X equal time, T-I-M-E, and X equal Christ. You can prove that by Christmas, because they say Xmas. So now, here you got a case where time and Christ, this X means time, X means Christ. So then you have to watch it when you jump over that X. Now X also means unknown. They use an algebra and other for the unknown quality. But so you see, it moves out to mean a lot of things. Like a person doesn't know his name or something. A person can't write, make an X. So this X stands for a lot of things. But I say, you have to watch that X. Now once. Now when you jump over into the twice, you jump over into duality. When you jump over into duality, then you jump over into something that's stated over in the Bible, that the secrets of wisdom are double to that which is. Now I never heard anybody, scholars, anybody else mention that particular line, but it's in the Bible, that the secrets of wisdom are double to that which is. Now what is it telling you about this double? It's got a two-way thing going on you. It's saying one thing and it means another thing, and it's warning you about that duality in that. You notice this Christ was speaking in parables. Now, if you come to teach somebody, if I came up here and I talked to you on in parables, you wouldn't understand anything, because you might catch a little light, but it would be better if, just like I'm doing this, I'm showing you what it is. That's what a teacher's supposed to do. If someone comes and teaching you in parables, it means they don't really want you to know. And it's stated like that. Well, it's given to you to know, but the rest of them know. So then something was being set up for humanity that was over into a mystery thing. And the reason they wanted to build a mystery thing, because it was all set up to kill people. Now, you start reading that book in a way where you're looking at it from an, just read it like you read a textbook. You get a textbook, mark in it, look at it. You have to regard it as that, because it is a textbook on how to die gracefully and meekly and forgive all your enemies. That's what he was trying to show people. Now you do that and you go to heaven. And so then you had a whole race of people like black people. And so more people have joined the fold now. All of them trying to be like Jesus. For instance, like you had black people for a long time saying, I want to be more and more like Jesus. And you judge a tree by the fruit, and you look at the way they are today, completely divided in all kind of ways. If you get that book and look at it real good, it will tell you that the disciples turned the world upside down. Now you know what upside down is.